play to show man on pre-snap and then to blitz. I mean, what did you see? What did you hear before that play?
Right. They motioned the guy out, gave him a look to think that I was a man on him, and then, they motioned back across, so I was able to just get back into where I needed to be, and then the rest is what played out.
How do you guys, when there's a quarterback change that you find out on Thursday, Friday, like what's the process of kind of reinventing or adjusting the game plan so quickly?
Right. I think it's tough. With the news that came out, it was I believe it came out on Twitter. So at the same time, you gotta wonder how much you can trust it, and then at the same time, it's you prepared for one guy, and then you got to adjust to the other guy. But hats off to that kid. He played a good game, and ended up making it closer than we wanted to be. So.
What happened in the second half of your
Right. I think it was a combination of things. I think the first half they were in a lot of what we expected, and then in the second half it kind of went into plays that challenged our eyes with a jet sweep pass, counter pop pass. Like they're good scheme plays, but we just got to have our eyes in better places. We got to adjust to them. We got to be ready for them.
Coach B said this is the best thing that can happen for you guys. What kind of lessons can you take away from a game that was up and down like that?
Right. I think it's a great opportunity to take a lot away, and at the same time, we didn't have to learn it through a loss. I think going into next week, we have a lot to clean up, but we're 5-1 instead of 4-2, and I think we take what we did well, and then we work on what we didn't do well.
Was this game personal for Coach B? In the post-game press conference, he said this is a matchup that pissed him off, is what he said.
Yeah, I think it was personal for a lot of guys on this team. Last year, going into Purdue and losing 44-19, I believe. Yeah, I mean, that leaves a sour taste in your mouth. And obviously, the Cayman hasn't been with champagne in a while. So I think a lot of guys took it personally. I don't think it was just a head coach thing. And we found a way to get it done.
A little bit different look with the defensive front to start the game. Was that part of the adjustment to the different quarterback, or was that something you guys were scheming for just for Purdue all week long? Or?
That's just a part of our defense. We chose to employ that part of our defense, and we transitioned through a few different schemes, and we gave them looks that they weren't expecting. So it worked out well, but we got to tighten up in some of those calls to be able to play those plays where there's a lot of things going on a lot better.
Daniel said tackling for your guys as a group was important during that open week. Like, what that looked like and how you guys emphasize that.
Right. Yeah, I think to start the season, we hadn't been as great tacklers as we would like to be, myself included. And so that's staying after practice, working on drills with ourselves, either that with one-on-one with a coach, or if you got a couple guys to do it. But just finding the opportunity to do it without taxing your body too much. It's a long season, so you got to use the bye week when you can. But just finding a way to improve on the little things, really.
What was the energy in the locker room? Was it exciting win, everybody's happy, or was it blew a 24-point lead and kind of a sour taste for them?
Win is a win. So it was exciting at first, but I think everyone knows that didn't have to be that way. And I think everyone is ready to do what they need to do to make sure that that doesn't happen again.
On the last play of the game, when the running back went in motion, you went with him and then went in unblocked. Was that something you guys talked about pre-snap, or no, trying to trick him into thinking you're one of the man?
No, it's kind of just me and Miles talked about it a little bit, but it was just kind of the way it worked out. I saw my opportunity to kind of play with him a little bit, and then he ended up coming back in, which made it even better. So, and I just took off.
How important is that when playing a freshman quarterback, or like you said, someone you guys haven't been ready for because you found out on Friday?
Right. I think if you can disguise anything on defense, it's a great thing, no matter what the quarterback you're playing. I think some quarterbacks react faster, so that plays well. But yeah, if you can disguise what you're doing, it's a good thing on defense.
How do you the ball? Can you talk to us about Josh? What it means to see him have a performance that he had today?
That was awesome. We all know Josh has got it in him, so it's great to see it when it comes to fruition. It's a great running back. He runs hard. He's a big body, and he takes more than one to bring it down. So it was amazing to just see him go out there and do what he did.
I know you said it was personal for a lot of you guys. Like, kind of noticed you guys take on the personality of Coach B in a lot of ways. Like, how did you guys do that with this game in particular?
This one was, like I said, a lot of the team experienced what we experienced last year. So I mean, we had our own agendas, like per se, but you know, it was great to get the win, but ready to move on to next week.
Coach Purdue said this was maybe the best thing for this team. Who do you think of that?
I see what he's saying. Would have liked it to not be as close, but we got the win and we get to learn the lessons with a win, which is a lot better than learning the lessons through a loss. So, and we won a close game that you know, didn't look too good for a moment. So I think it's a great thing to learn from and to continue on.
You're one of the leaders of this defense. So how do you approach game week mentally coming up for Michigan? Is it hey, we won, or is it 49 points is way too many points and we can't perform like that, especially in the second half?
I mean, I think the policy is for the entire building is you can enjoy what you want to enjoy for tonight, but tomorrow we're back in it and we're on to next week. We got to correct the issues. We need to get into the film room. We need to get into the meeting room. We got to correct what we need to correct.
What's your approach as a captain and a leader? What's your message to the rest of the guys on the defensive side of the ball? Are you kicking butt this week, or how, how's that going to work from a mental standpoint?
Right. I think our guys do a great job of taking on that same thought process. I don't think there's a lot of kicking the butt that needs to go on. It's a lot of just encouragement. You know what I mean? And just reminding the guys that we won, but it didn't have to look like that and shouldn't have looked like that, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so going into next week, put some fire under some people's asses and get rolling.
Dylan, can you walk a layman through what it's like to have maybe the better part of 12 hours to prepare for what is a triple option offense?
Thankfully, we've seen it a couple times this year, but yeah, I mean, it's tough. We were in some looks that maybe not were the most advantageous for it, but we found a way to get it done, and we need to correct what we need to correct and move to next week.
Is this your first 2 walk-off sacks that happened in like a month, or have you had one before that?
No, I think those are the first 2, yeah. Overtime too, huh?
I was going to ask that. You were having some Nebraska flashbacks out there in overtime? Or?
Yeah, I mean, after I got the sack, I definitely did think about it, but other than that, I was just trying to win the game.
I mean, it's gratifying to know you stepped up and made a play twice now in overtime when your team maybe needed that to happen.
Yeah, it's gratifying, but like I said, I wish it wouldn't have got to that point. So I need to look at myself, figure out what I need to do better so that it doesn't get to that point.
What's it like to have an offense that can respond time after time after time like they did in the second half?
It's amazing, man. Hats off to the offense entirely. Hats off to Luke for what he did out there. It was just the game that they put on when we were struggling in the second half to just continue to respond to them. It was awesome because they give us a chance to go out there and win. It wasn't us giving them a chance. They give us a chance.
You guys thought they would go for 2 on that in overtime?
I was thinking they were going to go for 2, yes. I don't know if we really talked about it. I'm sure the coaches were aware of it as well, but yeah.